Here, మనం ఈరోజు డిస్కస్ చేసే టాపిక్ ఏంటంటే హై అవైలబిలిటీ. హై అవైలబిలిటీ ఏంటంటే దిస్ ఈస్ ఇన్ ఎవ్రీ నెట్వర్క్ దే నీడ్ సమ్ రిడెండెన్సీ. ఓకే, మనకి ఎలా అంటే ఇది హై అవైలబిలిటీ ఎప్పుడు యూజ్ చేస్తుందంటే ఇట్ విల్ బి యూజింగ్ టు అవాయిడ్ ద సింగిల్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ ఫెయిల్యూర్. ఫర్ సపోజ్ మనకి మన నెట్వర్క్ లో ఓన్లీ ఒకటే ఫైర్ వాల్ ఉంది. ఓకే, నీ నెట్వర్క్ అంతా ప్రొటెక్ట్ చేయడానికి ఒకటే ఫైర్ వాల్ ఉంది. వాట్ ఇఫ్ దట్ ఫైర్ వాల్ గోస్ డౌన్ ఆర్ వాట్ ఇఫ్ ద ఫైర్ వాల్ crashes in between? So in that case, what this availability will do is high availability will provide a redundancy. So by having backup firewall, okay, like this we will be having two firewalls in this sector. We'll have firewall 1 and firewall 2. These will be, one will be acting as an active. Let us take this is an active firewall. This is an passive firewall. Okay, passive or standby. We can call it as an passive in Palo Alto, and we'll be having active passive setup in the Palo Alto. Not only active passive, we will have other setup active. That is a different case. But we are discussing about active passive in this high availability capacity. How these are connected, how it will be acting, one will be acting as an active and one will be acting as an passive. How it will be elected, what is the election process, that all we are going to discuss in this class. Okay? Here, high availability, in high availability, in Palo Alto Networks, the high availability is used for the redundancy. Like how I said, to avoid the single point of failure and to provide the redundancy in your network, this availability is much useful for in every network or in every corporation. There will be using two firewalls. One is acting as an active, one is acting as an passive or standby. Once this active goes down, immediately this passive will be taking role of this active, and all the traffic will be going through this current active one. Until unless this active comes up, this passive will be acting as an active, and all the traffic is flowing through this active firewall only. Okay? And in this Palo Alto network, sorry. Yes, that's same thing. డిఆర్ బిడిఆర్ లాగానే ఇక్కడ మనకి డిఆర్ ఎలా వర్క్ చేస్తుంది, అంత ట్రాఫిక్ అంతా డిఆర్ నుంచే, అంటే ఐ మీన్ synchronization అంతా DR నుంచి జరుగుతుంది. Once DR goes down, the BDR will be acting as an DR, and it will be synchronizing with all the routers, right? In the same way, and also you will be having the VRRP. Okay, you know the VRRP also, right? The same way in firewall also we will be having a high availability here. Here in this parallel network firewalls, we can configure 16 firewalls in this HA cluster. Okay, HA cluster means will be configuring active, passive, active, passive, active, passive. Like this, we will be having 16 firewalls. All these firewalls will be considered as an HA cluster. Okay, and these firewalls in the HA will be having pair or cluster using dedicated. Some firewalls will be having dedicated HA ports. I already told in the first class where you are discussing interfaces. Okay, type of interfaces. We have HA interfaces, but some firewalls will be having dedicated HA interfaces, HA1, HA2. But for some firewalls, we don't have dedicated HA interfaces. In that case, what we'll do is we'll be using the in-band interfaces. In-band interfaces means the data plane interfaces. Okay, we'll be configuring in-band interfaces as HA ports, and we'll be connecting these firewalls HA1 to HA1 and HA2, HA1 of active firewall connecting to HA1 of passive firewall, and also HA1 of HA2 of active firewall is connecting to the HA2 of passive firewall. And we'll be having molds of this, what HA1 will do. If you configure port as an H1, what this HA1 port will do. And also if you configure port as an HA2, what this port will do, we'll be having different roles of both ports, okay? And if you go on to the modes, we'll have two modes in this HA. One is an active passive and one is an active active. Active passive is a normal setup where we are configuring the active passive. One firewall will be acting as an active, one firewall will be acting as an passive. And whenever active will goes down, the passive will be taking care of all the active roles. Okay. And where the active will be being we are using is if the network has any asymmetric paths. Okay. If they want asymmetric paths, they will be using active. In this active setup, what actually doing is one firewall will be acting as an primary active and one firewall will be acting as an secondary active. Okay, so both will be acting as an active so that whenever there is some asymmetric paths or asymmetric routing in the network, those will be using active setup. But mostly active is not preferable because it will be consuming a lot of resources. But and also active setup is not an conveniently using in every environment. Okay, but most probably using an active passive only because active passive is an easy thing that we can configure and maintain it, and it will be using some less resources. Okay. This active passive HA is supported in all the modes, okay? From all the mode instance, so virtual wire, layer 2 and layer 3 deployment. This is about the HA modes. And if you go on the links, we have, I told you two links, right? HA1 and HA2. HA1 will be calling as a control link, and HA2 is for the calling as a data link, okay? And for some firewalls, there will be a dedicated HA ports. Use these ports to manage communication and synchronous between the firewalls. For details, if you want, and we'll be having, I already showed you in the first hardware which firewalls will be having dedicated HA ports and which firewall don't have a dedicated HA ports. Okay. The firewalls without dedicated HA ports such as 220, 220R, 220R we don't have right now, but 220 we don't have HA ports. And VM series firewall also we will not having HA ports. Okay, we want to use an in-band interfaces only. What exactly HA port will do means actually HA port will be calling as in controlling, right? Controlling means all the hello messages and heartbeat messages and HA state informations and management principles for routing and user ID information. All these things will be done on the HA1 link. HA1 link called as control link. What this HA link will do is HA link is used to exchange hello messages, heartbeat messages, HA state information. Why hello and heartbeat messages will be used means once what we'll do is once the active passive setup is done, and one firewall is acting as an active, one firewall is acting as a passive, right? So what hellos and heartbeat message will be is it is like keep alive, okay? Why if active passive setup is okay and it is working fine every certain time, hello and heartbeat messages are going from active to passive and passive to active. If any at any certain time, if hello messages or heartbeat messages stop from active, the passive what it will do is the passive will wait for certain time. Okay, certain time instance will be having some threshold limit, threshold value. Till the threshold value, this passive will be waiting for hellos and heartbeat messages from the active one. Once the threshold limit reaches, what passive will do is passive will think that active is down or active is dead. So at that particular of time, the passive will be considering itself as an active, and it will be taking the control of this active. That's where this hello's heartbeat information will be mostly used. Okay, and HA state information in the HA is what are the states that we'll be using will be discussed later. Okay, we'll have some initialization state, active state, passive state, and the non-functional state, and as well as suspended states. We'll be discussing more about these states in next few minutes. Okay. And this HL link also helps to sync the routing information and user ID information as well. Okay. And this control link is a bidirectional. Okay. Bidirectional is data flows on sorry, this is not a HA2, this is an HA. The data flow on HA1 link is an bidirectional, okay? Bidirectional in the sense all the traffic flowing on this HA1 is two sides. Bidirectional is active to passive and passive to active, okay? And the ports using on the HA1 is 28769 and 28260, and these are the clear text communication only. That 428 for encrypted communication. Okay, this is about HA2 and sorry HA1, and now we are discussing about HA2. HA2 will be calling as a data link where it will be using for synchronizing the sessions, forwarding tables. Tables means all the routing tables. Okay, all these table will be syncing between active to passive. Okay, and IP security associations are tables between the firewalls in HFR. Okay, so this HA2 mainly used once the session is formed. This HA2 what it will do is it will be synchronizing the sessions between active and passive, and also forwarding tables. All the sorry, all the routing tables and ARP tables and IPsec information will be exchanging, not exchanging, forwarding from active to passive. This HA2 link is an only unidirectional. Unidirectional means it will be always flow from active to passive only, not passive to active. HA1 is an bidirectional. It will be flow in the both sides, active to passive, passive to active. But HA2 is a only unidirectional, means it will be flow from active to passive. Okay, it will not synchronize sessions from passive to active because active sessions will be available only in the active device. So it will be synchronizing sessions from active to passive. Okay. And fortunately for HA2 is in the HA2, the data link can be configured either IP or UDP port 29281 as a transport, and we'll be allowing the HA data to sync up on this HA2. Okay, and we'll be having backup links as well. HA1 backup and HA2 backup. Why this HA1 backup, HA2 backup means same price. If the HA1 is goes down, immediately this HA1 backup will take over the responsibility of HA1. And in the same way, this HA2 backup link also will work. Once the whatever the things that are HA2 is doing, all the things will be doing in HA2 backup link as well. But when it will be coming up means whenever this HA2 goes down, HA2 backup link will always be there to synchronize the sessions, and whatever the HA2 is doing, HA2 backup link also will be doing. Okay. And these are about the links. Okay, HA1, HA2, HA1 backup, HA2 backup. And this HA3 is mainly used in the active setup. Okay, we'll in the active passive we'll be having HA1, HA2, HA1 backup, HA2 backup. This HA3 is used mostly in the active only. It will be not using in the active passive. HA3 is using in active for packet forwarding. Okay, It will be using mainly in the packet forwarding in the active setup. And device priority and preemption. Device priority preemption means I will tell you here. See, మనం ఇక్కడ ఏమైంది మనం ఆల్రెడీ HA1 కనెక్ట్ చేసాం, HA2 కనెక్ట్ చేసాం. So all the information is flowing from active to passive and passive to active. So before flowing this information, what are the things that is that the firewalls are using to elect active and passive? Okay. What are the things that is checking is device. Sorry. Yeah. మనం కాన్ఫిగరేషన్ చేస్తాం. అదే ఇప్పుడు చెప్పబోతున్నాను నీకు. యా, ఇప్పుడు నీకు మనకి ఇక్కడ రెండు ఫైర్ వాల్స్ ఉన్నాయి. మనం ఫర్ సపోజ్ మనం ఈ ఫైర్ వాల్ 1 ఉంది అనుకున్నాం. లెట్ us take this is an firewall 1 and let us consider this is an firewall 2. I want to make firewall 1 as an active and firewall 2 as an passive. So what will be is how the selection process will be happen, right? There is a device priority. Okay. We have to configure this device priority. By default, the device priority will be configuring as an 100, and this device priority will be used to elect the active passive. This device priority, which device having less device priority, it will be acting as an active. Okay, and this device priority having high priority, it will be acting as an passive. So for now, I want to firewall one active challenge. So I'm configuring device priority as 100, and here and priority configuring as an I'm configuring priority as 200 here. So which one will be electing as an active? This, because the device priority is less, and for this device priority is more than this. So this firewall will be acting as a device active firewall. So this is how the election process will take place. For suppose if I forgot to configure and priority, so by default it will be 100 on both sides. Okay, the priority will be 100 on both sides. Now the priority is same, right? So what is the criteria to elect active passive means? If the device priority matches or device priority is same, it will check the MAC address. Okay, it will check the MAC address. The device which has low MAC. Okay, the device which has low MAC address, it will be electing as an active. We don't know which device will be having low MAC, but based upon this MAC address, the device which is having low MAC address will be acting as an active one. The device which is having high MAC address will be acting as an passive. Okay. This device, if you want to make this firewall is an active, this firewall is an passive, it is in our hands, okay? Because the device priority is configurable. మనం కాన్ఫిగర్ చేయవచ్చు, ఓకే? అందుకే యాక్టివ్ ఏ డివైస్ యాక్టివ్ చేయాలనేది మన చేతిలోనే ఉంటుంది. నేనేమనుకున్నా ఫైర్ వాల్ 1 యాక్టివ్ చేయాలనుకున్నా. సో నేను ఏం చేసా, డివైస్ ప్రయారిటీ 100 కాన్ఫిగర్ చేసా, ఇందులో 200 కాన్ఫిగర్ చేసా. సో ఫైర్ వాల్ 1 యాక్టింగ్ యాజ్ అన్ యాక్టివ్ అండ్ ఫైర్ వాల్ 2 యాక్టింగ్ యాజ్ అన్ ప్యాసివ్. Okay, that is a concept of device priority and election process in the HF. లో మ్యాక్ అడ్రస్ అంటే నువ్వు ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ సపోజ్ లాస్ట్ 4 డిజిట్స్ అని కాదు, నీకు అన్ని తక్కువ అంటే ఐ మీన్ ఫర్ సపోజ్ నీకు 02A0569 ఇప్పుడు ఎన్ని ఉంటాయంటే నీకు 6 ఉంటాయి, 1 2 3 4 5 ఇట్లా ఉంది అనుకుందాం ఫర్ సపోజ్. ఓకే. ఇక్కడ దీంట్లో కూడా సపోజ్ 02AA06650001 అనుకున్నాం. సో మనం అన్ని బిట్స్ చెక్ చేసుకోవాలి. లెఫ్ట్ ఫ్రమ్ రైట్ టు ద లెఫ్ట్ అన్ని బిట్స్ చెక్ చేసుకోవాలి. ఏది తక్కువ ఉందని. మనకి 01కి 00కి ఇది తక్కువ. ఓకే. సో మనం ఏం కన్సిడర్ చేస్తామంటే ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఇక్కడ అన్ని సేమ్ ఉండి ఇక్కడ ఇక్కడ ఒక డిఫరెంట్ ఉంది అనుకో. ఇక్కడ 05 ఉంది, ఇక్కడ 06 ఉంది. ఒకవేళ నేను ఇక్కడ 00 పెట్టినా కూడా మనకి ఇది ఎక్కువ అవుతుంది, ఇది తక్కువ అవుతుంది కదా. సో this MAC address will be a low MAC address. The device having low MAC address than this, so it will be acting as an active one. అర్థమైందా? And apart from device priority, preemption. What is preemption? Preemption అంటే we will be having preemption concept in the Palo Alto. How it will work means ఇప్పుడు మనం యాక్టివ్ ప్యాసివ్ అయిపోయింది, యాక్టివ్ ప్యాసివ్ ఎలక్షన్ అయిపోయింది. ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఫర్ సపోజ్ ఫర్ ఎనీ రీజన్ దిస్ యాక్టివ్ డివైస్ went down. This is down. Okay. What it will do? This passive will be acting as an active now. Okay. This passive acting as an active, and we check the down device which is previously active, and we brought this up. Okay. And it will be running fine now. So if you have enabled preemption in both the firewalls, what it will do is once this active device comes up, it will be taking an active role again back without any manual intervention. It will be taking the preemption. It will be taking the active if you are enable the preemption. Okay. If you are not enable the preemption on the both the devices, once this active device is back, it will not take the active role again. It will be acting as an passive. This will be acting as an active. Okay. అర్థమైందా ప్రియంషన్ అంటే? మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి చెప్పాలా? ప్రియంషన్ అంటే ఇప్పుడు మనకి we have to configure this as well. Okay. Which is the device priority. If you want, sorry. Yes, Srinivas, you are saying something. See here, మనం ఇక్కడ డివైస్ ప్రయారిటీ పార్ట్ మనం ప్రియంషన్ ని కాన్ఫిగర్ చేయాలి. ఓకే. మనం ప్రియంషన్ కాన్ఫిగర్ చేస్తే ఏమవుతుంది అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ సపోజ్ యాక్టివ్ ప్యాసివ్ ఉంది, యాక్టివ్ ఫైర్వాల్ 1 యాక్టివ్ ఉంది, ఫైర్వాల్ 2 ప్యాసివ్ ఉంది. ఫర్ సమ్ రీజన్ దిస్ ఫైర్వాల్ 1 వెంట్ డౌన్. ఓకే. ఫైర్వాల్ 1 అండి యాక్టివ్, దిస్ వెంట్ డౌన్. And what the firewall will do? Firewall 2 will be acting as an active now until active comes up. Okay. This firewall will be acting as an passive, and after some time this firewall is up now. This firewall 1 is up, and if it is taking the active role again or not, it's based upon the preemption. Okay. If we enable preemption in the firewalls, this firewall 1 once it's back, it will be taking the active role again without manual intervention because we have already configured a preemption. If you are not configuring preemption, on the firewalls, once this firewall 1 is back after some time, it won't be taking an active. It will be acting as an passive only. Whatever the current active, the firewall is acting as a current active, right? This firewall to acting as a current active. So it will be acting as an active once this previous active came up. If we configure a preemption and once this active firewall comes up again, this will be taking the active role without any manual intervention. That is the concept of preemption. Okay. Understood? And link monitoring, path monitoring, we'll discuss. This in the failover scenarios, this will be taking over, and we'll be discussing some important ones. HA timers, okay. These are the HA timers. We have hello interval. మనం డిస్కస్ చేసాం కదా హెచ్ఏ1 విల్ బి సెండింగ్ అండ్ నెగోషియేటింగ్ హలో అండ్ హార్ట్ బీట్ ఇంటర్వెల్స్ బిట్వీన్ యాక్టివ్ ప్యాసివ్ అండ్ ప్యాసివ్ యాక్టివ్. Why means these hellos and heartbeats will be working as a keep allows for every 800 milliseconds. Sorry, 8,000 milliseconds. 8,000 milliseconds means I think it's 8 seconds for every 8 seconds or 8,000 milliseconds. This hello interval will be exchanging between active and passive, and this heartbeat interval. Okay, this heartbeat interval will be exchanging in the form of pings. How we are pinging from one side to other side. This heartbeat interval also using pings, and these things will be sending from one side to other side in every 1,000 milliseconds. Means it will be in 1 second. Okay, for every 1 second, this heartbeat sending and pings, heartbeat message will be sending in the form of pings. And preemption hold time, the time that passive or active secondary firewall will wait before taking over as an active or active primary firewall. Yeah, we have discussed about the preemption, right? What is the preemption hold time is? The time that passive or active secondary means in the active setup will wait before taking over an active firewall. Okay, and promotion hold time means it will be also the same thing, but it will be having after the clear communication with the HA peer has been lost. Okay, clear communication with the HA peer, and if HA peer is not accepting any more traffic, and it is completely dead, then this passive or passive secondary will be taking the active roles. That is called a promotion hold time, and this hold time will begin only after the peer failure declaration has been made. Peer failure declaration means once it's completely dead and we have confirmed that peer is dead, then only this hold time will begin. Okay, and the monitor fail hold up time, we are not configuring, we are not using this monitor fail hold up time. Okay, but this is interval during which firewall will remain active following and path monitor or link monitoring failure. We'll discuss more about link monitoring, path monitoring, okay, in the failover scenarios. And we have also discussed about the HA state information that is exchanging in the HA1 link, right? So these are the state. We have initial state, active state, passive state, active primary, and we have active secondary, non-functional, suspended, tentative. Okay. And what is the initial state means? Once you configure an HA in both the firewalls, it will be remains in the initial state. Okay. Once you configure an HA on both sides, and if still if before it negotiating all the hellos, heartbeats, all the session synchronization, all this happening, before that it will be in the initial state. Once the negotiation is completed and all the hello bits and the HC information, all this information is negotiated, the firewall will be moving to active or passive based upon the priorities. Okay, based upon the device priority, the firewall will be moving to an active, and other firewall will be moving to the passive state. Active primary and active secondary is the same thing. Once all this negotiation, all these negotiation happen, after the negotiation, so it will be the firewall which is having an priority high, it will be moving to the active secondary, and the device priority which is acting as an which has a device priority low, it will be moving to an active primary. But active primary and active secondary will be seen in the active setup, not in an active passive. Will be seeing only active passive in the active passive setup. Okay, and this is the active secondary. And when this non-functional state will occur, okay, if there are any errors during the negotiation, okay, not negotiation. After the negotiation, the firewall will be moving to an active passive, right? Once this active passive setup is done, and there will be if any errors after the sessions are formed, okay, and if there are any mismatch configurations will be there, and if there are any if there are any data plane failures. Okay. In that case, the firewall is moving into the non-functional state. Okay, and suspended state means we can manually doing this. Okay, if I want to let's suppose say for suppose I want to keep down this active firewall out of HA, and I want only the passive firewall for now. I want to do something on the active, and I want to make this active firewall out of HA. Okay. So what I will do is I will suspend this firewall. Once this firewall is suspended, what it will do is it will be out of HA, and it will not participate in the HA. And whatever the passive firewall will be there, it will be taken as an active. Okay. We have to manually doing this. Okay. The device is disabled, so won't pass the data traffic, and also HA communication still occurs, and the device doesn't participate in the HA election process. Yeah. The device doesn't participate in the HA election process. It can't move to an HA function set without user intervention. Without user intervention means we have to make it as an HA again. Suspend. We will only the suspending for some reasons, and if it want to allow into the HA, and if it want to participate that firewall into the HA, we have to make it as an we man. It won't once the firewall is suspended, it won't participate in HA automatically. We have to make it as an local to that HA. Okay. And again, tentative state. When this state will be seen on the firewall, means when the failure of a firewall, failure of the firewall, if any CPU resources or management data plane is going high, and if that firewall is not able to reach, okay, in that case, it will be moving to the tentative, and the firewall is suspended non-functional state. Okay. If the firewall is going to non-functional state, and if the firewall we have suspended before and leaving this state, maybe if there is something error occurred, this firewall will be moving to an tentative state, and also whenever there is some link or path mountain failures, it will be moving to an tentative state as well. Okay. Yeah, we do you have any doubts till now on this device priorities, preemption, HA timer, and HA states? Any questions? Any questions on this HA states or HA timer? Okay, okay. And we will be moving to the failover. See here in this active passive setup, the firewalls will be failover. What is the term failover means? the active will be taking the role of passive, and passive will be taking the role of the active. Okay, this failure, if the firewalls are failure, the roles are changing. Okay, the active is acting as an passive, and the passive is an acting active. For instantly, for some reasons, these failures will be happening. Okay, there may be some reasons. What are the reasons? Means there may be missing of heartbeat or hello messages. Okay, if these heartbeat messages will be sending for every 100,000 milliseconds, and hello message will be sending for every 800 or 8,000 milliseconds, right? And if there are three consecutive heartbeat classes, okay, three consecutive means for every 1,000 seconds it will be sending one heartbeat, okay, using a ping. If the three consecutive heartbeat messages or hello messages are lost, if you are not sending from active to passive, the three heartbeats or three hello messages, the failure will occur. Okay. ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఈ యాక్టివ్ నుంచి ప్యాసివ్కి హలో బీట్స్ హలో మెసేజెస్ సెండ్ అవుతుంటాయి. ఎప్పుడెప్పుడు సెండ్ అవుతుంటాయి మనకి ఫర్ ఎవ్రీ 1,000 milliseconds. 1,000 milliseconds హార్ట్ బీట్ సెండ్ అవుతుంటాయి. అదేవిధంగా 8,000 milliseconds వరకు హలో మెసేజ్ సెండ్ అవుతుంటాయి. సో ఇఫ్ ద యాక్టివ్ ఫైర్ వాల్ డోంట్ సెండ్, మన యాక్టివ్ ఫైర్ వాల్ కన్సిక్యూటివ్ త్రీ మెసేజెస్, ఓకే, త్రీ హలో మెసేజెస్, త్రీ హార్ట్ బీట్ మెసేజెస్, త్రీ మెసేజెస్ లాస్ అయింది అనుకో, త్రీ మెసేజెస్ నీకు యాక్టివ్ నుంచి ప్యాసివ్లోకి వెళ్ళారు. ఈ ప్యాసివ్ ఏం చేస్తుంది? ఐ హ్యావెంట్ రిసీవ్డ్ ద హార్ట్ బీట్ ఆర్ హలో మెసేజెస్ ఇన్ లాస్ట్ 3 seconds ఆర్ మన ఇక్కడ ఏమని తెలుసుకుంటే మోస్ట్ ప్రాబ్లీ విల్ గో టు ద హార్ట్ బీట్ ఫర్ పాస్ట్ 3 minutes. I haven't received any messages. So I considered active is dead and I'm taking a role. Taking a role in the sense this active will become the passive. That is the failover process. Okay. Failover means the passive is taking the active role. Why it will be taking active role means this is the one thing that you need to check. This is also some troubleshooting kind of scenarios. But suppose you configured active passive, you don't know. Suddenly this passive became active and active became passive. So what is the thing that you need to check is you need to check whether the heartbeat and hello messages are sent or not. If the heartbeat or hello messages are not the three, if it is not sending three consecutive seconds, or if it is not sending three consecutive heartbeats, it is considered as an activated, and the failure will be happening. The passive will take the active role. Okay. And the second thing you need to check is link monitoring failure. First, you need to know what is link monitoring. Okay. There is in this concept, HA concept, we will be having the link monitoring. What it will do the link monitoring is once you configure an HA, you'll be having some data plane interfaces. You have Ethernet 1, Ethernet 2, Ethernet 3. What you will do is you have to monitor these links. Okay. What you will do is you will be configuring these links in the link monitoring. Okay. Ethernet 1, let us take Ethernet 1, Ethernet 2, and Ethernet 3. Okay. We have three links connected to the firewall, and I want to monitor these three links. Okay. We have some failure scenarios in this. Failure మనకి ఏముంటాయి? టూ ఉంటాయి, ఎనీ ఆర్ ఆల్. If we configure any as a failure reason, if any of this link goes down, the failure will happen. Okay. మనకి ఏమిటంటే మనకి ఈ లింక్స్ అనే కదా లింక్ మానిటరింగ్ అంటే వీఆర్ మానిటరింగ్ ద లింక్స్ దట్ ఆర్ కనెక్టెడ్ టు ద ఫైర్ వాల్. మనకి దీనికి ఉండొచ్చు, దీనికి కూడా ఉంటాయి. ఓకే. దీనికి కూడా త్రీ లింక్స్ ఉంటాయి. మనం ఇక్కడ ఏం కాన్ఫిగరేషన్ ఉంటుందో ప్యాసివ్ లో కూడా సేమ్ కాన్ఫిగరేషన్ ఉంటుంది. ఓకే. మనకి లింక్ మానిటరింగ్ ఫెయిల్యూర్ రీజన్ వచ్చేసి ఫస్ట్ ఎనీ అనుకున్నాం. మనం ఎనీ కాన్ఫిగర్ చేస్తే ఇఫ్ ఎనీ ఆఫ్ దీస్ త్రీ ఇంటర్ఫేసెస్ గోస్ డౌన్, ఆర్ ఇఫ్ ఎనీ ఆఫ్ దీస్ ఇంటర్ఫేసెస్ ఫ్లాప్స్, the failure will be happening. Failure means this active will be considered as in passive now, and passive will take the active role. If you configure link monitoring, failure reason is all. Until unless all the three links flaps, the failure won't happen. Okay. మనకి లింక్ మానిటరింగ్ ఫెయిల్యూర్ లో ఫెయిల్యూర్ రీజన్ వచ్చేసి ఆల్ అని పెట్టినామంటే మనకి అన్ని లింక్స్ డౌన్ అయ్యేంత వరకు ఫెయిల్ ఓవర్ అవ్వదు అనమాట. సో మనం ఏం చేయాలంటే ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ కాన్ఫిగరింగ్ లింక్ మానిటరింగ్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు సెలెక్ట్ ద ఫెయిల్యూర్ రీజన్ ఇస్ ఆల్. ఓకే, బికాస్ మనం ఎనీ అని సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకున్నాం అనుకో, మనం ఏదో విధంగా అంటే ఏదో రీజన్ వల్ల ఏదో ఒక లింక్ డౌన్ అవుతుంది, మనం అప్పుడు ఫెయిల్ ఓవర్ అవుతుంది. మళ్ళీ కొద్దిసేపటి తర్వాత ఇంకొక ఏదైనా లింక్ డౌన్ అనుకో, మళ్ళీ అప్పుడు ఫెయిల్ ఓవర్ అవుతుంది. సో టు అవాయిడ్ ద ఫ్రీక్వెంట్ ఫెయిల్ ఓవర్స్, what you will do is, if you want link monitoring, you can add the links here and make the failure region as an all. Until unless all the links goes down, the this active will not be HA will not be failure. What about path monitoring? We have the third one is an path monitoring. Okay. What about the path monitoring is it is about the path to the destination. But suppose I have two different paths to the. For suppose I have 10.10.100. I have two different paths for this. Okay, I am going via some 10.10.10.254, and I have also some 10.10.10.100. I will also have some path via. You can take any of the destination. Okay, 10, 20.20.20. So like this, for this 10.100 destination, I have two paths. So you have to mention all these paths to the destination. So for this destination, what the firewall will do is firewall will monitor this path, and we have also same failure region. Okay, this is also failure region as any or all. We have the same failure region. If you are configuring the failure region as any, what it will do? It will be check if any of the route path to the destination goes wrong. Okay, for suppose మనకి ఇది డౌన్ అయిపోయింది ఈ పాత్. ఈ పాత్ డౌన్ అయిపోయినప్పుడు మనకి ఏమైతుందంటే ఫెయిల్ ఓవర్ ట్రిగర్ అవుతుంది అనమాట. ఫర్ సపోజ్ ఇఫ్ యూఆర్ కాన్ఫిగరింగ్ పాత్ మానిటరింగ్ ఫెయిల్యూర్ రీజన్ is all, it will be checking if all the paths went down or not. If all the paths went down, it will trigger failover. If not, it won't trigger. That's the reason this failover will be occurring. And if the failover is occurring, what you need is you have to check all this. First one is in heartbeat polling and hello message. Second one, if they have configured any link monitoring profile. If they have link monitoring profile, what is the failure reason? What is the failure condition? Check out the failure condition. If failure reason is any, you have to check the links in the link monitoring profile. What are the links they have added in the link monitoring profile? Check if any of the links went down. If any link went down, check the reason, and that is the reason for the failover. And if the failure reason is all, check if all the links that are mentioned in the link monitoring profile. And if all the link goes down, then only the failure has to happen. Okay. And same wise in the path monitoring failure also. In this path monitoring failure, what we have to do is we have to include the path to the certain destination. If I want to monitor for whatever the destination I have mentioned here, I'm monitoring this 10.100 destination, and I have two paths for this destination, and I'm monitoring. So if failure reason is any, I'm what the firewall will do is if any of the destination in this went down, the failure will be triggered. Otherwise, it won't trigger. That is the thing that you need to check whenever the failover happened and the reason for the failover. Okay, understood? Or do you have any confusion on this? Do you have any confusion or do you have any queries on this failover reasons? No, right? No. And one more concept in this HA is split brain scenario. What is a split brain scenario and how it will occur? Okay, let us take we have two firewalls which are connected in active passive setup. Okay, this is an HA1, this is an HA2. Okay, consider this is an active and this is an passive. The top link is an HA1 and the bottom is an HA2. This is an HA2. Okay. How the split brain scenario occur? We are discussing about split brain scenario. How the split brain scenario occurred in the active passive setup means. See here, what are the HA1 is doing? HA1 is exchanging hello beat, heartbeat messages, right? And HA information. Okay. For some reason, this HA link went down. HA1 link went down. This HA link went down. The firewall is okay, but HA link went down. What the firewall, active firewall will do? Active firewall will do nothing because HA went down and it will not sending the hello messages and heartbeat messages to the passive. What passive will do? The passive will wait for 3 seconds, and if it's not reaching, if the passive firewall is not getting hello or heartbeat messages, what firewall will do? The firewall will think that HA is down. Sorry, active passive is down, and it would be considering as an active role. Okay, but actually active is not down. Active is okay. Active is working fine, but HA link is down. So the passive will be acting as an active node. In this scenario, both the firewall will be acting as an active. This firewall is active. This firewall considering as an active because of HA1 link went down and the passive is not receiving hello and heartbeat messages. So what the split brain scenario means, whenever the both the firewalls acting as an active, the both the firewalls acting as an active, this split brain scenario will be occurring. We can see the in the system log. If you go on the monitor tab system log, we'll be seeing a split brain scenario occurred. Split brain scenario occurred means both the firewalls will be acting as an active because this HA1 went down and no hello or heartbeat messages reaching the passive and the passive considered HA active is down. But actually, active firewall is not down. Only the HA link is down. So this considered is passive as an active. Okay. And split bin scenario is that where both the firewalls is acting as an active. How to get rid of this split bin scenario? To get rid of this split bin scenarios, we have to bring up the HA1 or to avoid that, we have to configure an HA1 backup. Okay. You need to configure H1 backup. That's where H1 backup links will be working on the behalf of H1. Okay, H1 backup. To avoid this active or split brain scenario, we have to configure an H1 backup link. So once this H1 is down, This HA1 backup will forward the hello and heartbeat messages from active to passive and passive to active. Got it? Understood the split brain scenario? అర్థమైందా split brain scenario? Oh. Do you have any confusion here? Okay, okay. ఏమైనా కన్ఫ్యూజన్ ఉంటే చెప్పండి. I will discuss more. Okay. And there are some more reasons for this split scenario answer. Okay. One thing is an HA link is down and there is no HA backup link. And both HA1 link and HA1 backup links are down. Okay. And again, one more thing is if any switch or router in between these active passive firewalls, that is also one main thing. See here, if you have any router in between or switch in between, if that went down, we are like configuring like this situation. In between active and passive, there is a router or the switch. If this router went down, what it will do? It won't pass an heartbeat backup, right? Sorry, hello messages or heartbeat messages. It won't send. The active won't send to passive. In that case, also this will be in scenario as well. This will be the active is up, okay, and it is not the passive is not receiving the hello messages or heartbeat messages because this router is down. This router is down, and we are not receiving the passive is not receiving any hello and heartbeat messages, and it would be considering as an active. Okay. In this case also split bin scenario. Split bin scenario ఎప్పుడు చూసామంటే both firewalls acting as an active that is called as split bin scenario. That's the point where you have to remember. And why this active scenario will be happening means because of the passive is not receiving hello and heartbeat messages, and it will be considering active is down, and it will be considering itself as an active. But actually, active is not down. The link in between active and passive is down, or the router or the switch in between active and passive is down. In that case, split scenario will be occurring. And HA link is up, but active firewall management resources are busy or firewall not functioning properly. Okay. Now, HLink is okay, but the CPU or management CPU or database CPU, which is an active firewall, is fully occupied and it is not functioning properly and it is not able to send. Once the management resources are not available, this active firewall won't be sent any messages outside. Okay, that is also one main reason for this. And to avoid the prevent scenario, we need to configure HA1 backup and heartbeat backup for instant heartbeats. By configuring heartbeat backup, the firewall will use the management to provide the backup path. There is a concept called heartbeat backup as well, and we will be while configuring HA, I will show you where you have to configure heartbeat backup. For sure, you have to configure an HA backup, HA1 backup. To avoid this prevent scenario, we need to configure an HA1 backup. And if you know the heartbeat backup also, we can configure heartbeat backup, but H1 backup is mandatory. Okay. And we have passive link states. Okay. Passive link states means, see here, this is an active, this is an passive. Okay. Whenever you are forming active passive on this setup, one will be acting as an active, right? One will be acting as an passive. So all the links that are on the active will be in the forwarding state. Forwarding state means it will be up and running. All the traffic flowing from on this active, flowing on this interfaces, whatever the interfaces. But on the passive, we have the links connected, but these are not up and these are not participate in the traffic because this is a passive. It will be acting as a standby, and these interfaces are not active and it is not up. So we have an passive state links. What is the passive state link means? One is an shutdown state. One is a shutdown state. Shutdown state means all the links in the passive firewall in the shutdown state. Okay, all the links in passive firewall is in shutdown state, and the other one is an auto. What the auto means? All the links in passive firewall is in up, but it will not participate in the it will not participate in the traffic flowing. Okay, it will not. If you configure shutdown, all the links in the passive will be in the shutdown state. If you configuring auto, all the links in the passive firewall will be in the up state, but it will not participate in the traffic flowing. Okay, it will not forward any traffic. It will not receive any traffic. It will be just in the up state. What is the main purpose of this shutdown and auto means? If you are in the shutdown state, it will be shutdown. It will not participate. But if it is an auto, it will be up and it will be traffic flowing. But what is the main difference means? If it is in shutdown state, once this passive firewall will become active, it will be the ports will automatically coming up and it will be participate in the traffic. So to turning up from the shutdown state, it will take some time, right? So if you keep up in the auto, the firewalls, the passive firewall, once the passive firewall will become active, if it is in auto state, the ports are already in up. It won't be, it don't need any time to coming up. Okay, it will already in the up state. It will directly participate in the traffic. So will be saying that the convergence time is nil in the auto because if you want to make the port up from shutdown to up, it will take some seconds, right? Or if passive will become active, the ports will be coming up in 3 seconds or 4 seconds or 5 seconds. Okay, that is also important in the networking. Okay, if it is keeping the shutdown state to becoming an ports off state, it will take some time to avoid this convergence time or to avoid this shutting to avoid the time. We are configuring the passive state link as an active. Okay, once this state is configured and the passive firewall will become active, already all the ports are in upstate and it will directly participate in the traffic flow without any delay. That is the main purpose of this passive state links. Okay, passive link state and shutdown mode and auto mode. Okay, do you have any doubts on this? You have you have covered a lot of stuff on this. Okay, this is this is also the important topic. This IPsec, high availability, and next one is a global protect, and after that is panorama. We have panorama. So all these things are very important in this firewall. Okay, this high availability is mainly for the redundancy or over the single point of failure. Okay, we have discussed HA modes, link states, HA1, HA2, H1 backup and HA2 backup, and we have discussed about device priority, how election process will take place, and what is the preemption, when we use preemption. And we have also discussed failure scenarios, link monitoring, path monitoring, HA timers, HA firewall states. This is also firewall state and failover scenarios and split brain scenario. Also, we have passive instance. These are all the major topics, and we have covered a lot of things in HA. Okay? Do you have any doubts? Okay. If you don't have any doubts, we will wind up the session. Make sure go through this document and video once again. Okay. If you are not, I think you got some clarity, but you don't have that much of clarity. Right? So once you go through that, you will get in some clarity. If you have any doubts, just let me know. Okay. 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 Bye.